AITA for refusing to let my boyfriend's sister use my restaurant job to throw a free party? So picture this. I was standing in the middle of my workplace, the restaurant I've worked at for 2 years now, and my boyfriend's sister, Amanda, was screaming at me so loudly that even the customers eating at their tables turned to look. She was waving her hands, calling me selfish, fake, and accusing me of ruining her only chance at a dream birthday party. Her words? "You could have just let me have the place for one night. You owe me that much as family." And here's the kicker. She had already told all her friends and family that the party was happening at my restaurant, and now they were all staring at me like I was the villain. I felt my heart drop. My manager was standing just behind me, arms crossed, watching everything unfold. The look on his face told me he was 2 seconds away from asking what the hell was going on, and maybe firing me on the spot. I froze, my hands shaking, because how do you explain to your boss that your boyfriend's sister just announced a whole free event at his business without permission? And then Amanda looked me dead in the eyes and said, "If you don't make this happen, you're not part of this family anymore." That's where I nearly lost it. But before I could even open my mouth, someone else walked into the restaurant at that exact moment. Someone who made everything 10 times worse. Okay, let me back up a little so this all makes sense. I work at this mid-sized family-owned restaurant. It's not a huge chain or anything, but it's nice enough that people use it for small weddings, engagement dinners, or work parties. I've been there long enough to know how strict the rules are about events. If you want to use the space, you book ahead, pay a deposit, and settle the bill. No exceptions. My boyfriend Tyler and I have been dating for about 1.5 years. Things have been okay with him, but his family is, let's just say they're a lot. His sister, Amanda, is the worst of them all. She's the type of person who thinks everything should be handed to her because she's special. She's never had a steady job, still lives with her parents, and always plays the victim when things don't go her way. From the start, Amanda never liked me. She thought I wasn't good enough for her brother because, in her words, a waitress doesn't have ambition. But the funny part is, this waitress is paying her own bills while Amanda is still mooching off their parents. Anyway, about 3 weeks before her 27th birthday, Amanda got this brilliant idea that she wanted to throw a massive party. Not just a cake and drinks thing, but a full-on celebration with food, drinks, decorations, and over 50 guests. The problem? She had no venue, no money, and no plan. Enter me, the unlucky girlfriend working at a restaurant. Amanda came up to me one afternoon while I was visiting Tyler at his parents' house. She leaned against the kitchen counter with this smug little smile and said, "So, I've decided I'm having my party at your restaurant. You work there, right? Just tell them to let me use it. Family discount." I laughed because I thought she was joking. "Amanda, it doesn't work like that. You have to book the place, and it's not free." She cut me off. "Don't be ridiculous. You work there. You can pull strings. Just tell your manager it's for your boyfriend's family. They'll understand." I explained again that the restaurant doesn't even let employees book it for free. We'd all get fired for that. She rolled her eyes, called me difficult, and stormed off. I figured that was the end of it. But oh no, Amanda doesn't take no as an answer. A few days later, I found out through one of her friend's Instagram posts that Amanda had already announced her party location at my restaurant. She posted graphics, invited dozens of people, and even tagged the restaurant's location. My stomach dropped when I saw it. I immediately called her, and the conversation went something like this. "Amanda, why are you telling people your party's at the restaurant? You can't do that." "Relax, it's fine. I've already invited people. You just need to tell your boss to lock in the date." "Amanda, I could lose my job over this. You have to cancel." "You're being dramatic. It's one night. If you really loved Tyler, you'd do this for his family." That line hit me like a slap. She was already trying to guilt trip me into risking my job. I told Tyler that night, and at first he seemed to agree with me. "Yeah, Amanda's being ridiculous." But then he added, "But maybe you could just talk to your manager. Like, maybe they'd let you do it as a favor." I felt my stomach twist. I couldn't believe it. Even Tyler was starting to push me to consider it. I said no, a hard no. I wasn't about to risk my paycheck and reputation because his sister wanted to play princess for a night. But Amanda, she didn't stop. Over the next week, she kept calling and texting, saying things like, "Don't embarrass me in front of my friends. You're just jealous because you've never had a real party. You owe me this. I've been nothing but nice to you," which was a straight-up lie. I ignored most of her messages, but the problem was she didn't just stop at me. She got Tyler involved, their parents involved, and even some of her friends started messaging me asking why I was ruining Amanda's big day. It was insane. I felt like I was trapped in some bizarre soap opera. Fast forward to the day of the party, I thought Amanda would have figured out by then that it wasn't happening. But apparently, she didn't tell her guests anything. She actually showed up at the restaurant with a whole group of people, dressed in a glittery silver dress, balloons in hand, acting like she owned the place. And that's when the screaming match started. Amanda confronted me in front of everyone, accusing me of betraying her, humiliating her, and proving I was never real family. She actually expected me to just hand over the keys like I was her servant. But then, like I said earlier, right in the middle of her meltdown, someone else walked into the restaurant at that exact moment. Someone who made everything 10 times worse. The door swung open, and in walked my manager. Not just any manager, the head manager, Mr. Clark. He almost never worked evenings, but there he was, standing with his clipboard in hand, staring at Amanda and her little parade of guests like they had just broken into his house. The second Amanda saw him, she plastered on this fake sweet smile and said, "Oh, hi, you must be the boss. I'm Amanda, family of your employee here. We're here for my birthday party." I thought I was going to pass out right there. My face burned so hot, I felt like everyone could see the panic written on me. I opened my mouth, ready to defend myself, but Amanda just kept talking over me, louder and louder. "I've got 50 guests on the way. Don't worry, I told everyone food would be covered. It's just one night. She said it was fine." The way she spun it, she made it sound like I had promised her everything. Before I could even react, Mr. Clark turned to me with a look that could cut glass and said, "Did you tell her this?" The entire restaurant went silent. Amanda's friends were snickering behind her. My coworkers looked nervous, like they didn't know if I was guilty or just unlucky. I thought maybe, just maybe, Amanda would eventually realize she was digging too deep, that she'd back down when she saw how serious Mr. Clark was. But instead, she clapped her hands, turned to her guests, and said loudly, "Don't worry, everyone, we're not going anywhere. This is happening tonight, whether she likes it or not." And then she tried to march her whole crowd straight into the dining area. Amanda clapped her hands like a queen, leading her loyal subjects, and said, "Come on, everyone, let's go inside. Don't let them scare us off." And just like that, 20 or so overdressed people, her friends, cousins, and even a few of her parents' neighbors, started moving toward the dining area like a parade. Balloons bounced, heels clicked, voices rose. It was chaos. I panicked and darted in front of them, practically throwing my arms out like I was guarding the gates of a castle. "You can't just walk in. This isn't your place." Amanda shoved past me, muttering, "Don't be dramatic. We're here now. It's happening." Mr. Clark barked, "Stop!" and the room froze. His voice cut through the noise like a knife. Customers were staring, forks halfway to their mouths. My coworkers had backed into a line near the kitchen, whispering nervously. Amanda turned, folded her arms, and sneered at him. "Look, I don't know why you're making this difficult. My sister-in-law works here. We've got the right." Sister-in-law? My brain stuttered. We weren't even engaged. Mr. Clark's eyes narrowed. "This is a business, not a playground. You have no booking, no contract, no payment. Leave now." But Amanda wasn't giving up. She raised her voice so the whole restaurant could hear. "Do you all see this? My own brother's girlfriend is trying to humiliate me on my birthday. She's lying to protect herself because she's embarrassed she can't deliver on her promise." The guests gasped like it was a courtroom drama. Some of them started glaring at me like I'd personally ruined Christmas. Tyler finally stepped forward. For a moment, I thought he'd finally back me up. He cleared his throat, scratched his neck, and muttered, Maybe we can just work something out, like just this once." The look on Mr. Clark's face nearly killed me. He stared at Tyler, then at me, like I was surrounded by lunatics. I wanted to scream. But instead, I grabbed Tyler's arm and pulled him aside. My voice shook, but I was desperate. "Do you realize what she's doing? She's setting me up to lose my job. If she wins this, I'm done. Everything I've worked for, it's gone." He shifted uncomfortably and mumbled, "I just don't want drama tonight. It's her birthday." "Drama?" I felt like slapping him. And then Amanda raised her voice again. "If you don't let us in, we're not leaving. We'll stand here all night until you do." Her friends cheered like this was some protest rally. Mr. Clark pinched the bridge of his nose, clearly seconds away from calling the police. Let me back up for a second. Part of why this moment terrified me wasn't just Amanda's stunt. It was because my job at the restaurant wasn't just a job. It was my lifeline. I grew up in a family where money was always tight. Getting hired at this restaurant had been a miracle. The pay was decent, the staff treated me like family, and for the first time in years, I wasn't constantly worried about rent. Mr. Clark had even talked to me once about possibly training for a shift lead role. So the thought of losing it all because Amanda wanted a glittery Instagram party, it made me sick. And Amanda knew this. That's what burned me the most. She knew how much I needed this job, but she didn't care. In her world, I was just the obstacle between her and the fantasy party she thought she deserved. Back to the restaurant that night. Things escalated fast. Mr. Clark finally said in a sharp, cold voice, "This is trespassing. You leave now or I'll call the security." Amanda threw her head back dramatically like she was auditioning for a soap opera. "You'd really kick out a birthday girl in front of all these witnesses?" Some of her guests started filming on their phones. My stomach lurched when I saw that little red recording light. Amanda wanted me and my workplace to look like the villains. And then she did the unthinkable. She marched straight to the nearest table, pulled out a chair, and sat down, like she was the paying customer. Her guests followed, laughing and clapping as if they'd won. Plates from paying customers were literally sitting inches away. "Bring out the food," she shouted. "It's party time." The restaurant fell into chaos. Amanda slammed her hands on the table and shouted, "Food! We want food! It's my birthday!" Her guests cheered and clapped like she had just pulled off the heist of the century. Balloons floated between the tables, someone pulled out a Bluetooth speaker blasting music, and suddenly it felt like the restaurant had turned into a nightclub. Paying customers looked horrified. A family of 4 actually grabbed their kids and left. A couple in the corner muttered angrily, tossing money on the table before storming out. I wanted to sink into the floor. Mr. Clark's voice boomed over the chaos. "This is your last warning. Get up, get out, or the police will remove you." Amanda tilted her chin high, not moving an inch. "Call them. We're not leaving. My brother's girlfriend works here, so technically this is family business." Her audacity left me speechless. Mr. Clark turned and gave me a look that said everything. "Control this or you're done." My stomach twisted. How was I supposed to control Amanda when she was acting like a dictator with an army of enablers? Tyler finally tried stepping in. He leaned down to Amanda and whispered, though loud enough that I heard, "Maybe we should just go. You're making a scene." Amanda whipped around and hissed, "Shut up, Tyler. For once in your life, stand up for your family." Her words hit me like a slap. Family? What about me? I'd been breaking my back to keep this from blowing up, and she had the nerve to throw family in my face? The guests started chanting, "Party! Party! Party!" Phones were out, recording everything. I imagined videos going viral with captions like, "Waitress denies birthday girl," or "Restaurant ruins woman's 27th birthday." My hands were shaking. And then, without warning, Amanda grabbed a plate from a nearby customer, a man who had been halfway through his pasta, and said, "Here, I'll just start with this. Don't mind if I do." The man yanked his plate back, furious. "Are you crazy? That's mine." The whole room erupted. Here's where things shifted for just a second. Mr. Clark stormed toward the back and told me sharply, "Stay here, don't move. I'm calling the police." I nodded, frozen, while Amanda laughed with her friends like this was all part of her plan. Tyler sat down miserably at the edge of the table, rubbing his forehead. I wanted to scream at him. I wanted to ask him why he wasn't standing up for me, why he couldn't see that his sister was setting my whole career on fire, but the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I busied myself trying to calm the paying customers, apologizing to tables one by one. Some understood, but most were angry. One woman said coldly, "This is the last time I ever eat here." My chest tightened. And meanwhile, Amanda, she was holding court. She'd pulled out her phone, live streaming herself in the restaurant. "They're trying to kick me out of my own birthday dinner. But look, my family's here. We're celebrating anyway." Comments started popping up on her screen. Some people told her she was brave, others mocked her, but Amanda thrived on the attention, grinning like she just won an Oscar. I watched in disbelief. This wasn't just about a party anymore. She was trying to make herself a victim on the internet, and I was the villain. Then came the moment that pushed everything off the cliff. Mr. Clark came back, phone in hand, and announced loudly, "Police are on their way." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Some of Amanda's guests looked uneasy. A couple of them even started edging toward the door. But Amanda, she doubled down. She stood up on a chair, actually climbed on top of it, and shouted, "Nobody leaves. If they want to drag us out, they'll have to drag all of us out. This is my birthday, and no one ruins it." Her friends cheered. Customers screamed at the madness. And me? My vision blurred. My heart pounded so hard I thought I'd faint. Because the last thing I heard before everything went to hell was the sound of police sirens wailing outside the restaurant. The sirens grew louder until the blue and red lights flashed through the restaurant windows. Amanda froze for the first time all night, but only for a split second. Then she jumped down from her chair, smoothed her glittery dress, and muttered, "Good. Let them come. I'll tell them exactly what you did." The doors swung open and 2 officers stepped inside. The whole restaurant went silent except for Amanda's Bluetooth speaker still blaring club music. One officer walked over and immediately turned it off. The lead officer's voice was calm but firm. "What's going on here?" Amanda strutted forward like she was the star witness in a court trial. "Thank you for coming, officer. I'm the birthday girl. This restaurant tried to ruin my celebration even though my family member works here and promised me this space. They're harassing me and my guests. We've done nothing wrong." Her friends nodded along like backup dancers. The officer turned to Mr. Clark, who stood stiff with his arms crossed. "Sir?" Mr. Clark didn't flinch. They entered without permission. They disrupted paying customers. They refused to leave when asked. This is trespassing. All eyes shifted to me. My throat tightened. I knew what Amanda was about to do. Sure enough, she jabbed a finger in my direction. "Ask her. She's the one who promised me everything. She's just lying to cover her tracks. Fire her if you want, but don't punish us for her mistake." Gasps rippled again. Amanda's live stream was still going, filming every second. The officer looked straight at me. "Is that true?" I wanted to scream, to break down, to explain the weeks of manipulation and lies, but all that came out was, "No, I never promised her anything. She announced this party without my permission. I told her it wasn't possible. Amanda laughed like I just told the funniest joke. She's lying, officer. Why else would I invite everyone here? Why would I embarrass myself like this if she didn't confirm it? The officer studied both of us, then asked Amanda calmly, do you have any written confirmation? A contract? A message from management approving this? Amanda blinked. Then she smirked. I don't need one. I'm family. Her word is enough. The officer didn't even blink. Ma'am, this is private property. Without a contract, you and your guests are trespassing. You need to leave now. Her face dropped. Her guests shifted uncomfortably. Some of them grabbed their coats. A few whispered things like, Amanda, let's just go. But Amanda wasn't done. She stomped her foot like a child and shouted, this is my birthday! I deserve this! She's trying to humiliate me because she's jealous. The officer sighed. If you don't leave, we'll escort you out. The room held its breath. Finally, one of Amanda's friends stood up and said, come on, Amanda, this is embarrassing. Others followed, drifting toward the door, the army she thought she had, crumbling. Amanda turned on me, her eyes blazing. You did this. You ruined my birthday. I'll never forgive you. And you, she pointed at Tyler, you let her do this to me. You're not my brother anymore. The words hung in the air. Tyler looked like someone had slapped him. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. The officers escorted Amanda out, still muttering about betrayal and injustice. Her live stream ended abruptly when one of them told her to shut her phone off. And just like that, the restaurant was quiet again. Customers murmured, coworkers sighed relief, and Mr. Clark finally looked at me. His voice was sharp but not cruel. We'll talk in my office tomorrow, but for now, get back to work. I nodded, throat tight, and went to clear a table like my world hadn't just fallen apart. The fallout? Oh, it didn't end there. Amanda blasted me all over social media the next day, calling me a traitor and a liar who ruined her life. Tyler's parents called me selfish, saying I should have found a compromise because family is family. And Tyler, he's been distant ever since, caught between his sister's tantrum and me. I didn't lose my job, thank God, but Mr. Clark made it clear this was my one free pass. Any more personal drama affecting the restaurant and I'd be gone. Now I'm sitting here wondering if I'm really the bad guy. Should I have done more? Should I have found some way to avoid this disaster, even if it meant bending the rules? Or was Amanda just determined to destroy me no matter what?